So, how has your coaching philosophy evolved from your early days to now?
Yeah, I think when I was starting, like I was 19, I didn't know anything about basketball training. No, I didn't have follow a course or anything. So what do you do is same thing. You watch the DVDs or I watched on YouTube. Like that was the first years with Drew Hanlon and Jordan Lolly and DJ
Yeah.
Sackman and Gannon Baker and
Yes.
all of those OG guys. So
Absolutely.
I would study them every single day, and then I was trying to mimic them and do that kind of stuff. So I would say my first years I would be a very more traditional coach, like doing a lot of drills, like tennis ball drills, two balls,
Yeah.
like all of those things, a lot of stationary stuff, a lot of working on moves. So the very traditional way of drilling players. And then over the years, when you get more experience, then you keep doing your research. I learned about how they train in Canada and Australia with more like the games approach and using small sided games and the CLA and loading the art of teaching, like all of that
Mm,
stuff. And then I totally changed my approach and I started going all in on this stuff. And I think right now my path would be a mix of both. I think that's
yeah.
that works best for me, or that's the thing I believe the most in is, yeah, how you can be the most efficient with creating transfer from practice to the game.
Right. And this is something that I've kind of noticed through looking at your content and just even some of the basketball clinics that you've done. You talk a lot about the mental development and having
Hmm.
resilience, So when did that become a core pillar of your approach?
I think from the beginning, but maybe I always was into growth mindset, and I just made this post about Kaizen that pretty much changed my life and the daily continuous improvement. So I would
Wow.
learn every day. Like that would be something I've been doing for 15 years now, try to learn at least one thing new every day. So then you learn for me, like I started to see like, oh, basketball is so much more than just what we do on the court. I think the best basketball trainers is a mix between technical and relational coaching. So technical
Well
coaching would
said.
mean you need to know your stuff, or you need to know what you're doing. You need to know your why. You need to be efficient with your time. But that's one part of the game. But I think the biggest part is the relational coaching. Like, can you truly get the most out of the player that is in front of you? Can you really get to know him? Can you understand him? Can you make him as confident as possible? And a lot of times you will make more impacts on that end than even with the skills part. If you can give a guy confidence and you can help him with the fears or the struggles that he has, and you can make him believe in himself, and you will see a guy blossom.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of times that's all they need. You can be the best player in the world if you're not confident or you have very negative self-talk, you're not gonna you're not gonna get the most out of your career. And the opposite is true. If you have a guy who's skills wise very limited, but he has the best mindset, like a lot of times these are guys who over deliver and still can get a crazy career, with very limited skills package. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And even on that, coach, like what is one concept or like one belief that you had early in your career that you've completely changed your mind about?
That's a good question. It's a really good question. I would say the more I see it, the less I am about winning games. I think winning games is an outcome.
Interesting.
I think everything is process oriented. Like you can win a game with 60 points and not be happy. You can lose a game with 20 points and think we had an amazing performance. So I start to look at the bigger picture. Maybe also I think I become way more relaxed. Like the game is very emotional. Definitely if you're a head coach, the game is emotional. You want to do everything for the win, but I learned to relax and kind of like s- keep your emotions the same, not get too high, get too low. And doesn't matter what happens, start to understand that everything happens for a reason and everything is something that the player can learn from. Doesn't matter if we
True.
win or lose, we see it as a learning experience.